Y'all run away from my daddy, you acting like he pulling up with a steel. He tryna feed y'all knowledge, you don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal. Y'all be Deuteronomy 28, 48, y'all still in the field. Y'all run away from my daddy, you acting like he pulling up with a steel. He tryna feed y'all knowledge, you don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal. Y'all be Deuteronomy 28, 48, y'all still in the field. Y'all run away from my daddy, you acting like he pulling up with a steel. He tryna feed y'all knowledge, you don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal. Y'all be Deuteronomy 28, 48, y'all still in the field. Y'all run away from my daddy, you acting like he pulling up with a steel. He tryna feed y'all knowledge, you don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal. Y'all be Deuteronomy 28, 48, y'all still in the field. Y'all run away from my daddy, you acting like he pulling up with a steel. He tryna feed y'all knowledge, you don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal.
Shalom, shalom. It's Brother Abner, your favorite brother, man. I'm spinning the block again on the dream team regarding when a day starts. They're my brothers, man. I love them. I ain't got no ill will with them. But this is not their lane. They have no understanding of that. They still on that One West understanding of when a day starts. So let's get to it. Like I said, I'm going to let them talk. And this is what you call attacking the doctrine and not the person. Because I listen to their scripture, and I go towards the scripture. So let's get into this and let's see what go down.
You want to understand why he did this way, but the devil put everything in reverse and made everything go backwards. So that was the reason why I had to get that scripture first. I want y'all to understand that everything what we do.
Well, wait, first we already killed that they can't make time go backwards. Jeremiah 31, 35 was the scripture. Okay, so let's go.
Is opposite of how it really should be. Go ahead, K. Judah.
Already, my brother, great scripture. Let's go to Isaiah 28, verse 9 and 10. Because to get understanding.
So we're going to Isaiah 28 and verse 9. Let's go.
Of the scriptures, we have to go by how Yahshua and Yah say read his word. How did he say it? Let's go to Isaiah 28, verse 9 and 10. Isaiah 28 and verse 9 and 10. And it reads, who shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. You see that, family? Mm-hmm. So what me and Sean Sham gonna do today, we gonna do exactly what our father and our big brother just told us to do. We're going to line up everything and let the scriptures speak, not me and Sham. So that way, nobody won't say Shaw Sham or K. Judah said.
K. Judah, so, read the beginning of that scripture again. I want to break that part down.
Already. Isaiah 28 and verse 9 again. Whom should he teach knowledge?
Now understand, y'all. This is what the Most High saying. Whom should he teach knowledge? Yahweh Shah, when he come and teach. What did he tell us? We have to be like what? Little children. Meaning you have to be willing to relearn, to be retaught, to get the proper understanding. Don't be like the scribe.
Now, I hate to say this, but this has nothing to do with when a day starts. This is what I like to call fluff. This is what K. Judah says is too much talking makes it seem real. If anyone is telling you or saying that the day is the start of the day in scripture, trust and believe. They have precepts. The problem with that is the information that I sent out, I can tell nobody looked at it, read it, looked at a scripture, looked it up in Hebrew or nothing. But I'm gonna let them keep on. Like I said, I attack the doctrine, not the person.
scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Ebionites, the Zealots, the Sicaries, all those different, the Sanhedrin, people or sectors of Jews or men who did not want to have an ear to hear and could not take the new wine. So this is why he said this. Who shall he teach knowledge? Read on.
And
Now, just speaking on that, because they're talking about new wine. The evening to evening doctrine is old wine in an old flask. It's old. As a matter of fact, I'll say this. It's dusky. You'll get that later on. It's real dusky, this evening to evening doctrine.
whom should he make to understand doctrine?
Read on.
Him that are weaned from the milk.
Now, what do that mean? Him that are weaned from the milk. You give a baby milk, meaning those who's willing to take the small steps, meaning to learn as a child. So him that is weaned from the milk, read on.
And drawn from the breast.
You on the breast, meaning when you coming off the breast, you getting fed, correct, K. Judah?
Talk that talk,
You're
Sham.
being fed off the breast, meaning you have
Right.
to start over. You have to be willing to learn again. Read on.
For precept must be upon precept.
This is what he's telling us. The precepts must line up. Read on.
Precept upon precept. Line upon line. Line upon line. Here a little and there a little.
And that's how we get understanding. So if you're not going to be weaned from the breast again, starting from the milk and willing to take that old wine and become a new bottle and no longer be an old bottle, it's a lot of Israelites in the community that are old bottles. But when brothers try to pull a new wine, and that's why the Messiah said you can't do that. So they would hear us not. So this is how you get your knowledge. You gotta rethink. Sometimes you just gotta be retaught. You know what I mean? And get a better understanding of what we learned or what we was taught, because some things just not true. But go ahead, KJ.
Great breakdown, my brother. Great breakdown. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 7, verse 9. And I'm gonna open up the window because we have to prove this with history. My brother Short Sham pulled out his standard encyclopedia.
Now, he's about to read Proverbs 7:9. Later on in this video, he reads Psalms 55:16. That's a precept to Proverbs 7:9. Okay? Just know that, because this video is going to stop at about, I'll probably stop this at about 19, 20 minutes in. But I just want to let you know, we may not get to Psalms 55 and 16, but it does. It's going to come out later on when I do probably the third or fourth part to this video.
Yes. And I also want to give a big salute to my brother Obadiah, who told me to buy this book. This new illustrated Bible dictionary is very powerful. So me and my brother gonna prove everything with the scriptures and the history.
Now, before they get into that, I just want to say this, because I know, everybody got their books. Well, I got a book here too. This is a thesaurus, and it's a, what's that, 18, what's that, 1834. It's an 1834 thesaurus. Roger Internet Thesaurus 3rd edition. So this is a good book as well for looking up information. Just want to let you know, because I'm gonna be going into this book to give some definitions of some things. So let's let them go on.
Okay, let's go to Proverbs chapter 7, verse 9. It's something I want to prove right here according to the book. I want you to look at how Yahshua speak, family. We always have to pay attention to detail. We have to pay attention to every dot, every tittle, every punctuation. Everything in the scriptures matter. Everything matters in the scripture, y'all. Even to the dot and the commas and the periods and the quotations. Everything matter in the book. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 7, verse 9. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 9. And it reads, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. What is he talking about? Let's open up the window.
So what K. Judah is bringing out and that scripture is bringing out is the time periods of the day. Time periods is a part of the day, or what we consider a whole cycle of a day.
Now, understand this. The two scriptures they are about to read, they're saying that these scriptures determine the order of how the day goes.
This is the Webster's 1828 dictionary. Twilight, the faint light which is reflected upon the earth after sunset and before sunrise. After sunset and before sunrise. Look at all the way at the bottom where it says in latitude remote from the equator, the twilight is a much longer duration than at the near the equator. So the point that I'm making is that twilight means the faint light.
Okay, so we there. Okay, so now they went into Isaiah 28:9, which was just explaining how to do precept upon precept. We know that. I don't understand why they went into that, but it's not for me to. I mean, it is what it is. You must go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. You learn that when you first come into this understanding. I didn't just come into this understanding last week, but I'm gonna keep going. Let's go to Proverbs 7 and 9 because it reads, like I said, when they read this, like it says here in 7:9, it says, Proverbs 7:9, it says, in the twilight, in the evening, and in the black and dark night. Right? So he went to twilight to get the definition of what twilight is. I don't disagree with that. This is a twilight. Twilight, the faint light, which is reflected upon the earth after sunset and before sunrise. So that's telling you right there could be a twilight at sunset and at sunrise. Let me show you so you can see it. Right here on their page, it says, the faint light which is reflected upon the earth after sunset and before sunrise. Okay? So twilight happens at sunset and at sunrise. There's two different types of twilights. That's what they're not bringing out to you, but I'm going to explain it. So we read that in Proverbs 7:9. And like I said, later on in this video, he gets to Psalms 55:16, right? This is the book of Psalms 55 and 16. I'm going to read 16 and 17. It reads, as for me, I will call upon Elohim, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. So he's saying that, see there, evening was mentioned first, and then the morning. So that means the evening come first. He's trying to say because of all the feast days that they're doing stuff in the evening time, that means that that's when the day starts. Because they're all aligned with each other. They all may start by saying like this, evening. Like you can look up Bible verses and say evening. There'll be a million Bible verses that'll pop up that'll say evening and what it means. So you can pick those, any one of them, and say, see, this is what this means, but I'm going to show you something. So by saying that, let's go to Jeremiah 31. Let's go to Jeremiah 31. Same thing that they were talking about, that things have been changed and switched and this kind of stuff. I'm gonna read this again to show you that that's not what has happened. And I'm gonna show you something else in that same doggone scripture. Okay. This is Jeremiah 31. We're gonna start at let's start at 34. Let's start at 34. Yeah, let's start at 34. It says, "And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord. For they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sins no more. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night." Now, this says sun, day, light first. Does that mean that there's a discrepancy in scripture now? Because a few scriptures say that a man wants to pray in the evening, morning, and noon, that dictates when a day starts? Because if that's the case, this would be a discrepancy, because this scripture says, "Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for the light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and the stars for a light by night." There's no discrepancy in scripture. The scriptures that he read, especially that one in Psalms 55:16, or the one where it says evening, that one, it didn't mean anything. Let's go back. Let's see what it says. Let's go back to it again. Psalms 55. Let's go there again. Or maybe I should read a little bit more of it. Psalms 55. 16, 17. Okay, it says, "Evening and morning and noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice." So if things are in order, if you're saying that that's how things are supposed to be done in order, let's go to Genesis then. Because in Genesis, the animals were created before man, but we rule over the animals. All I'm saying is that you can't take a scripture and a few scriptures that start with evening and then turn around and say that determines when a day starts. The man said he was just praying during those times of the day. That's all. That's all he was saying. Back in Jeremiah, because we was getting somewhere else with that. Jeremiah 31. Because it says here, "Night by night, which divided the sea, when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name." 36. "If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord." That's telling me ain't nothing been changed. Ain't nothing been put in reverse, flipped, upside down. Nothing's going backwards. No scriptures of any private interpretation. So if you can't just read it and leave it, or interpret what is there and not add words to it like this is what this means, when clearly there are many other scriptures that don't mean that. It doesn't mean what he's what was that I'm calling that? He's given his own private interpretation, because the scripture is of no private interpretation. Anyone can understand it with a little reading. But let me get into something else while we're here. Because he was going into twilight, right? He was going into twilight. So here we go, y'all. This is what we're gonna do. Let's go to this one. Okay. Here we go. Now I'm gonna show y'all something here. This is 2 Kings 7:5. It reads, "And they rose up in the twilight to go unto the camp of the Syrians. And when they were come to the uttermost part of the camp of Syria, behold, there was no man there." So it says they rose up at twilight. Definition of twilight's right here. H5399, twilight. It says properly a breeze, that is, by implication, dusk. When the evening breeze prevails, dark, dawning of the day, morning, night, twilight. So twilight can mean dusk or dawn, depending on when you're using it. If you see twilight and it says twilight like it does in 2 Kings 7:5, it usually means dusk. But if it says dawn, that means the morning. That means it's dawning, it's growing towards daylight. That is also called a twilight. Dawn is also called twilight. Okay? Let's go to another one. "Wherefore they arose and fled the twilight, and left their tents and their horses, and their asses, even the camp as it was, and fled for their life." Twilight. Properly, breeze, that is, dusk. When the evening breeze prevailed, dark, dawning of the day. Same thing, what we just read. Same thing, right? Let's go to another one. Now, this one says, no, we're gonna wait on that one. Let's go to this one, because, like I said, there are more than one type of twilight. There are 3 types of twilights. The first one is a civil twilight. You have a nautical twilight and an astronomical twilight, right? Astronomers define the 3 stages of twilights on the basis of how far the sun is below the horizon. The morning twilight is often called dawn, while the evening twilight is also known as dusk. Silver twilight, dawn, and dusk. Silver twilight occurs when the sun is less than 6 degrees below the horizon. In the morning, silver twilight begins when the sun is 6 degrees below the horizon and ends at sunrise. In the evening, it begins at sunset and ends when the sun rises. Okay? Y'all got that? If not, let me give you a better demonstration. Hold on, I got another one. Let me give you this one. No, let me see. There we go. Hold on. There it is. Okay. So, maybe this will give you a better explanation. You see sunrise over there in the right corner, and you see sunset right below that, right? What are the different types of twilights? There are 3 established and widely accepted subcategories of twilight: civil twilight, nearest the horizon; nautical twilight; and astronomical twilight, farthest from the horizon. What does the twilight symbolize? By analogy with evening twilight, the word twilight is also sometimes used metaphorically to imply that something is losing, listen to me, losing strength and approaching its end. For example, very old people may be said to be in the twilight of their lives. So they may be in the dusk, dusky, the end of their lives. Dawn is the beginning, meaning to grow light. Dusk decreases. Dawn increases. It's called the beginning. Okay, now, remember when I was talking about this book, right? I was going to get into it. So this is the Thor's book. So let's go look up dusk. Dusk is on page 134 and 3. 134, 3. 134, 3. Okay. See? You know, if you can see dusk. See it right there? Is it with the black marker? It says dusk. Now I'm about to read. Okay. Dusk. It says dusking tide, dusk down, twilight, serpical or crepuscle, larlight, gloom, glooming, darkening, dempsey, candlelight, candlelighting, cocklight, dusk of the impending night. It's impending, so dusk is impending towards nighttime. Okay? And then it just goes into night, darksman. So, like I said, dusk is the transition from day to night. So dawn should be somewhere over here. Let's see. Dawn. Dawn, the dawn of day, dawning, daybreak, day, spring, forward. Like, you know, the beginning of spring is the beginning of what? That's when the year begins, right? Day spring, day pent, sunrise, sun up, cock crow. Usually roosters crow at dawn. Cocklight, light, daylight, aurora, break of day, peep of day, crack of dawn, prime of the morning, first blush or flush of the morning, brightening or first brightening, the opening. It's always a word like the opening, which means to start something. That's what dawn means. So this is out of, like I said, 1834 Thesaurus, Rogers International, little book there. So you don't think I'm making nothing up. So let's continue. And I'm going to do something even better for you. Just because I feel like I got a little time. Let's go to John. Let's go to John. I'm going to show you a difference between the twilights, because he pulled up twilight to prove his fact, his point, and it was true. Twilight in that sense meant dusk. It was true. Okay? It's true. Okay, let's see here. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Let's go to verse 1. And it reads, in the end. See, this dictates time. When it says in, beginning, that's a scripture that has something to do with time. If those words aren't in there, you can't make it have anything to do with time except for the time that it is. Like if it's evening time, you can't dictate to say that that's when a day starts. But I digress. But I'm going to show you when a day, well, I'm not going to show you. The scriptures are going to show you. Matthew 28:1, it says, in the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn, it doesn't read dusk. It says dawn towards the first day of the week. So that means the Sabbath was going on, because we all know the Sabbath is on the seventh day. Seventh day. Seventh day of each week. And then after that seventh day, it's the first day, starting another week again. We know that. So I'm going to read this again. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. Because see, if it had been evening time, they would have been breaking the Sabbath. Also, if this is saying at the end of the Sabbath, that means it had to begin where it's about to end, which is at dawn, which is to grow light, which is the start of the day. Like it says here, towards the first day of the week. Let's go to Mark 16. Mark 16. Mark 16 and 1. Because I ain't going to do too much talking. Too much talking make it seem real. So let's go to Mark 16:1. And I'm going to read. It says, and when the Sabbath was past, so the Sabbath was gone. It had passed. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Solomon, had brought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. So they were going to the sepulchre, just like it said in Matthew. Same thing, they were going to the sepulchre. Okay? Verse 2, and very early in the morning, the first day of the week. You see how that precepts together? Here a little, there a little. With time. End, first. Those type of words are being used. Verse 2, and very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came into the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. And they said among themselves, who shall roll us away the stone from the door of the sepulchre? Verse 4, and when they looked, they saw that the stone was rolled away, for it was very great. And entering into the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment. And they were frightened. And he saith unto them, be not affrighted, ye seek Yeshua of Nazareth, which was crucified. He is risen, he is not here. Behold, the place where they laid him. I'm not done. Verse 7. No, matter of fact, let's jump down to verse 8. It says, and they went out quickly and fled from the sepulchre, for they trembled and were amazed. Neither said they anything to any man, for they were afraid. Verse 9. Now when the Messiah was risen early the first day of the week, but see, we know the Messiah rose on the third day, but it was after the Sabbath. Yeah, I did a class on that too. You should probably go check that out and critique it before you just start saying stuff. Let's go to one more. Let's go to Mark. And you know what? Let's go to Luke 23. Let's go to Luke. I'm going to get 3 witnesses without somebody else. I'm going to use the prophets as my witnesses. Luke 23, 50. I'm going to start at 56, but I'm going to probably go into chapter 24. But I'm going to start here at 56. It says, and this is Luke 23, 56. And they returned and prepared spices and ointments and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandments. Chapter 24. So they rested on the Sabbath day. Now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came into the sepulchre. Once again, they rested on the Sabbath day. So at the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, they walked to the sepulchre, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them. And they found the stone rolled away from the sepulchre, and they entered in and found no body of the Messiah. And it came to pass, as they were much perplexed throughout, behold, 2 men stood by them in shining garments. And as they were afraid and bowed down their faces to the earth, they said unto them, why seek ye the living among the dead? I'm going to jump to verse 7. Saying, the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of the sinful man, and be crucified, and the third day rise again. Verse 21. Chapter 24, verse 21. Let's jump. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And beside all this, today is the third day since these things were done. That's book. That's book. That's all book. That's all I'm saying. It's all book. I mean, and if I go to Genesis, that's the next thing that's coming up, because we stopped at, what was that, 19 minutes in. He's going to get ready to go into the evening, and he's going to be talking about Genesis. So the next class or critique I do on this, because I'm not a teacher, definitely not a teacher. I remain a student. As a matter of fact, speaking on that, I remember when I thought the earth was round, you know what I'm saying? John Boy straightened me out real quick on that. John Boy straightened me out on that real quick. And I had to get back with him and tell him, hey man, you was right. I have no problem with admitting if someone is correct about something, on anything. But you better believe I'm going to do the research first. I'm going to research what they said as well. That's the only way you can attack the doctrine and not the person. Because let's be real. Isaiah 28:9 has nothing to do with when a day starts at all.
ran away from my daddy, you acting like he pulling up with a stale. He tryna feed y'all knowledge, you don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal. Y'all be Deuteronomy 28, 48, y'all still in the field. Y'all ran away from my daddy, you acting like he pulling up with a stale. He tryna feed y'all knowledge, you don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal. Y'all be Deuteronomy 28, 48, y'all still in the field. Y'all ran away from my daddy, you acting like he pulling up with a stale. He tryna feed y'all knowledge, you don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal. Y'all be Deuteronomy 28, 48, y'all still in the field. Y'all ran away from my daddy, you acting like he pulling up with a stale. He tryna feed y'all knowledge, you don't wanna eat, you don't want a meal.
I believe it was what, 5:53. No, Jeremiah 31 and 5. And let me be sure that's what it was. Yeah.
Don't trade alone. Trade with me live using one simple strategy, and I'll help you get results. For example, a stay-at-home mom made $310,000 in her first few months trading in her spare time.
So total 4 weeks of the total P&L, it is 310K. I'm so happy that I found
those different